Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Unorthodox Vegan. My name is Sean Gold, and this week, episode 52, we are celebrating the full year of episodes from the Unorthodox Vegan. This week, we're going to be making meatballs. We're going to be making a meatball marinara recipe, and that is from the SRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group.org's 15-day plant-based challenge. This is day 13, so we're almost done that. Anyway, this recipe just calls for some basic stuff. It's really simple to make. It involves using some processed meat that comes from, I don't know, I like using Eve's, although I found out that Eve's is shutting down, or the Celestial Harvest, or whatever the name of the company that owns them, is going to be stopping down that line. They just don't have enough takers on their products, which is really sad and discouraging from a vegan point of view and from an environmental point of view. Anyway, so this is going to be the end of it. I have to go buy a bunch of stuff in bulk. Anyway, I'll be using some of their hamburger meat, just the plain. I don't have the seasoned Italian one or anything like that. And I'll be having some. I'll be putting in a sweet basil marinara sauce that I just love this one, so that's what I'll be using. We have some breadcrumbs. We have some. I have some flax. I'll be making a flax egg, which is I'll be making up. Very simple. And then spices: paprika, smoked paprika, onion, oregano, some salt and pepper, and that's about it. So I'll be making the meatballs, baking them, and then bringing them out of the oven, and then making up the pasta and adding the meatballs to the pasta sauce or to the marinara sauce, and then putting that on top of the spaghetti or the pasta. So that's it. It's very simple. So it's just about eating the meatballs. And this week's episode was about fiber and whatever, various other aspects of it. Anyway, but that's what we'll be doing. So let me just get set up. I will be making the flax egg, get that set up for it. And then we'll just be putting everything together in the bowl, mixing it all together and making up these balls and then throwing them in the oven. It'll be really quick. Anyway, back in a minute. I already prepared the flax egg by putting in 2 tablespoons of the ground flaxseed plus 5 tablespoons of water. That's a lot more than I would normally make, but that's a lot of egg. You can see it's quite a bit in there. Anyway, I put in 1 pound of the ground meat in there, and I forgot that I mentioned it to include I had garlic, 2 cloves of garlic that I've diced up, put in there. So that's the garlic. So that's 2 cloves of that. And then I'll be putting in just the rest of the spices, which is, let's get breadcrumbs. Let's get that. So we're going to be putting in 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. Mixing that in. My mother used to make hamburgers all the time and always did the breadcrumbs, except they just took regular breadcrumbs out of the bag, let them dry. Okay, so that's breadcrumbs, the garlic paprika. I think each of these are about a half a teaspoon, so 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika or just regular paprika, if you like, and 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, and some onion powder. That's all of those main ingredients. Salt and pepper to taste. I'm not sure how this is going to taste, so I'm just going to put in a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, see how it goes. And there we go. Put in a little bit of that. Put that in there. Scrape in a little bit of this. Okay, so the garlic is in. The flaxseed's not in. Let's get the flaxseed in there. And I'm going to be mixing this all together. So let me just get some stuff out of the way here. And just mix this all up as best I can. So I'll be mixing that all in, making it, and then shaping it into balls, putting it on this cookie sheet, and it's in the oven. I've already got the oven heating up, 375. So that's all that I'm going to be doing right now. This is going to be boring to watch, so I'm just going to mix around and make sure that I come back to you while I'm making up the balls. Back in a bit. Well, after starting to trying to mix this together with just a spoon, realized that wasn't going to work. So I just got in there with my hands and made it nice, got it working together. And now I understand why they needed so much flax egg, that 5 tablespoons of water with the 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, is just because we needed the extra water in there. And mixing it in with the breadcrumbs gives you the gluten. It helps to hold it all together, so it gives you a nice shape and the ability to work with it. So it's really quite nice. Now it says to make small meatballs. You know what? I find that from my grandkids and working with people that small is better. So yeah, I'm going to go with small ones. So I'm just going to start making them up like that. I'll get these all made up in just a few minutes and put that in the oven. You don't have to watch me making these up because that's pretty boring. Back in a bit. So we have the oven ready at 375 degrees. I've made up all of these meatballs. I'm going to throw them in the oven for 20 minutes, but I'm going to rotate them halfway in. So I'm going to put them in for 10 minutes and then give them a little bit of a rotation after that. And make sure that they're evenly browned on both sides. We'll be back in about 20 to 25 minutes. I think that's what the time frame is. 20 to 25 minutes. So probably around 12 minutes, I'll flip them around and then come back here and show you how they turned out. And then we'll be putting the sauce together and making the pasta, and we'll have dinner. Back in a moment. Okay, well, I have taken these out of the oven. I've started heating up that marinara sauce, and I'm just going to put these into the meatballs into the marinara sauce so that they'll absorb some of the flavor of the marinara sauce. And just put them in there, then put them back on the stove, let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Pick up some of that flavor. Just going to mix that around a little bit. Make sure that each of these gets lots of coating on it. We want them to pick up all that flavor. And back onto the stove and let that simmer for about 5 minutes. All right. And meantime, while that's doing that thing, I just wanted to point out that I also decided to add, I'm going to put some Parmesan, grated Parmesan on top. Now, this is not real Parmesan. This is vegan Parmesan made with nutritional yeast, some spices, and some raw cashews, which I've then grind up the cashews. And it makes a very nice mix together, and it tastes quite nice. So that's what I'm going to be using if I want to sprinkle a little bit on top, and maybe some salt and pepper, or a little bit of pepper. So that's it. Anyway, be back in a bit. I've made up some spaghetti, more than I probably need. It's a little bit al dente, and I've let it cool down too long. But anyway, that's what I did. I'm just going to take some of this meatballs, put it on there, a little bit of sauce, and just get this organized. Not going to have that much to eat. It's just way too much. I have some, so I was going to put on some of that Parmesan, that vegan Parmesan, and I just cut up some fresh basil off of my basil plant outside. Throw a little fresh basil on there, and we'll see how this goes. Now, it's a little hot, but we're going to chop that in half, see if we can get a little bit of this spaghetti with a little bit of the basil on there. Oops, don't forget the meatball. Okay, let's see how this all tastes. Hang on, get the camera angle. See how this all tastes. Okay. Wow, nice flavors. A little salty. May have put in too much salt. Probably didn't need any salt at all because there's already flavoring in the marinara, plus with all the other stuff. Anyway, let's try it again. Another bite. Right? There's something to be said for having the spaghetti being, or the pasta being, a little al dente. That really is nice, that texture. There's a little bit of stuff in it. It's not like really gooey. Beautiful. Meatballs taste great. I'm just going to try a little bit of the meatball directly itself. With a little bit of basil on it. Get that off there. Just see how it goes. Nice chewy texture. Some other flavors are coming through from the inside, but mostly I'm still kind of being overwhelmed by the sauce itself, by that basil pasta sauce. Overall, it's very, very good. And there it is, episode 52, Meatball Marinara. As always, you can reach me on my email address. That's vrcompanions@gmail.com. That's showing up right up here, vrcompanions@gmail.com. And of course, please follow me and subscribe to The Unorthodox Vegan. That's www.youtube.com/@ @the_unorthodox_vegan. Until next time, my name is Sean Gold. Have yourself a great day.